In this video, I'm going to take you through a complete step-by-step guide on how to get your real estate license in the state of Alaska. In this video, we're going to cover some important topics like how much does it cost to get your real estate license. We're also going to cover the pre-license education requirements and some of our top favorite real estate pre-license education schools so you can get these classes done ASAP. On top of that, we're going to give you some tips on how to pass your real estate exam and how to find a sponsoring broker. So let's dive right into the video. My name is Chris with New Agent Headquarters. On this channel, we give you all the resources and tools to become successful as a new agent. If you like that kind of content, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe because we come out with content on a weekly basis to help your real estate business grow. So let's dive into it. This is your complete guide to getting your Alaska real estate license. At the end of the video, my goal is to make sure you have all the information you need and all your questions answered to make sure that you know exactly what you need to do to be able to get your license. So let's dive into it. So in this video, I'm gonna go over what you're gonna learn exactly in the entire process. And I'm gonna get through this pretty quickly so you can get started with this whole thing. First thing is I'm gonna go through the actual requirements to get your license and what requirements you're gonna have to meet to make sure that you're eligible to actually get licensed. After that, I'm going to go through the pre-license education. I'm going to show you our favorite school for pre-license education, and we're going to go over all the requirements to get that done to make sure you're picking the right classes and getting things done so that you can get started with the exam ASAP. The next thing we're going to go over is the exam itself, what to bring on exam day, what kind of questions you're going to have on exam day. We're also going to give you some tips and tricks to pass your exam on exam day and some tools that I personally use to pass my real estate exam. After that, we're going to talk about picking a sponsoring broker and then applying for your real estate license and everything that you need to do to package everything up and send it out so you can work on getting your license back in the mail. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about our guide. This is the complete guide on how to get your license and start your real estate career. Everything in this video plus more is inside this guide, so make sure to grab it. This is what I wish I had when I first started and I was about to get my license. So scan the QR code or check the link in the description below where you'll be able to download your copy today. Give me some feedback in the comment section below if it was helpful and you liked it. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about some of the basic requirements. Now, these requirements are gonna be all the things you have to meet before you actually start this process. My biggest thing is I want to make sure you meet these requirements so you don't spend a ton of time and money getting started with this if you can't get licensed. So first things first, you must be a US citizen or a permanent resident, okay? After that, you must be 19 years old or older in the state of Alaska, and you must not have been convicted of any forgery, theft, extortion, conspiracy to defraud creditors, or fraud. So you want to make sure you don't have anything in your record that would prevent you from getting licensed. Now, if you do have those things, make sure to reach out to the Real Estate Commission or the licensing board and ask the questions and see if it's something that they might be able to make an exception on, or if you should just put this process off. But make sure you call and ask the questions because I know exceptions have been made in certain situations, and you want to make sure if this is a goal of yours, you at least ask the questions to see if there's a chance of getting your license. The next step is the pre-license education requirements. In the state of Alaska, you're required to complete 40 hours of state-approved pre-license education and then 30 hours of post-license education after you do that. Then from there, you have to pass with a 75% score or higher to get through this process. Now you might be wondering, 40 hours seems like a lot. If you're working another job right now, or you just have a really busy schedule, you might be wondering how you can actually fit this all in and get it done. So we suggest you check out this real estate school. You can find a link in the description below, which is going to take you to this page here. Once you're on this page, you're going to notice the real estate classes are offered online, and this gives you the flexibility to take it on your own schedule and go through this at your own pace. Now, there are multiple packages here. It really depends on what you want and what you want to spend. I highly suggest that you look at the details of each one and see which one's going to give you the most value based on how you study and how you learn. For example, some of these come with additional things such as live interaction, some are just self-paced, and then others also come with how-to videos and buyer and seller checklists and action plans and templates and things like that. So depending on what you need, make sure you check these out. They're all really good. They're all high rated. And this is what I recommend if you're going to go for your real estate license. So click the link down in the description below, or if you've got our real estate career guide, there is a link to classes and discounts to the real estate school inside that. So make sure to check that out, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Once you get done with your pre-license education, it's all about the real estate exam. Now, during this time block, I highly suggest you take the time to study. Now, I want to talk about what you should actually expect on the exam. Well, on exam day, you're going to want to bring a basic non-scientific calculator for the math portion of the exam, and you can expect 120 questions and 4 hours to actually complete this exam. So, as you can see, you have plenty of time to get through this. So don't rush this at all, because if you rush it, there's a higher chance you're going to fail. On top of that, this is all multiple choice. So make sure you read each question multiple times before you submit your answer. Now, let's talk about some tips to pass the exam. First things first, skip questions that you do not know. So many agents go through the exam, and if they don't know something, they just guess right away. What I suggest you do is, if you find a question that you don't know the answer to, completely skip it. Move on to the next one and work your way through the exam. Once you get done, you're probably going to have a lot of time left. That's when you want to go back to those more tricky questions and think through them. And the best way to think through them is a process of elimination. So what I suggest you do is look through each answer, because it's multiple choice, remember that, and then cross off the ones that absolutely make no sense. You might be left with 2 or 3 that could be a probable answer. From there, you want to select the one that makes the most sense. This will give you a higher chance of answering the question right. On top of that, you won't be stressed out because you know the majority of the exam is complete, and you're just focusing in on these couple questions that you wanted to reread and focus in on. This will give you much higher odds of success. The next tip is, do not rush to the exam. I know I mentioned this before, but so many agents do this, and you have plenty of time. And the reason you're allotted so much time is so that you can reread each question multiple times. The truth is, these questions can be a little tricky, and sometimes they're worded that way so that they're sure that you really understand the content. If you don't understand the content and they give you a real estate license, you can get yourself in some trouble. So to learn the process and learn the way the content's structured, I highly suggest you check out Exam Prep. I'm going to put a link down in the description below where you can check those out. The tool does cost a little bit of money. It is an investment, but it will give you much higher odds of actually passing your exam. The next thing, pass or fail. This is after you leave your exam. And you're going to find out right away if you passed or you failed. And that's the good news, because you don't have to wait around. You don't have to have anxiety. You're going to know right away. And if you passed, it's definitely time to celebrate. Make sure you pat yourself on the back, give yourself some credit, because this exam is hard and a lot of people do fail it. But the fact that you passed it on the first try is an awesome accomplishment. Now, if you failed the exam, don't give up, because many of the top agents in my market failed the exam the first time also. It doesn't mean you're going to be a bad real estate agent. It doesn't mean you're not going to be good at this. In fact, some of the top agents failed the exam multiple times. It has no correlation to if you're going to be good or if you're going to be bad. So I highly suggest that you double down, study for another 2 weeks, maybe pick up a study tool, and then get back into it. The next important thing that I want to talk to you about is how to pick a sponsoring broker. Now, when I first got started with real estate, picking a sponsoring broker was such a big deal because I wanted to find the right mentor. I wanted to be successful at this. And the truth is I picked a couple brokerages and I bounced around a little bit until I found the right one. And it's not fun to be new and go from brokerage to brokerage to brokerage before you finally land on the right one. So these are the questions that I would ask if I was starting all over again. The first question to ask is, does your brokerage have a mentorship program in place? This is a very important question because having a mentor is a total game changer in real estate. And you want to ask important questions like, how much access will I have to that mentor? How often will they answer my calls? Are they going to be available anytime I need them? Or is it only Monday through Friday? These are specific questions that you want to ask because having that mentor in place can make the biggest difference. And you also want to ask, how is it structured? How is this mentor going to help me? Are they going to teach me how to market? Are they going to teach me how to prospect? Are they going to teach me how to set up my CRM? Are they going to teach me how to write a purchase and sales agreement? Are they going to teach me how to write a repair addendum? Are they going to teach me all this stuff? And those are the questions that you want to ask, because when you ask those questions enough times, you're going to find the right answers and you're going to find the perfect brokerage that fits you and your new business. The next question to ask is, what training do you have in place for new real estate agents? Most brokerages don't have much training in place for new agents. That's the truth. And that's kind of why I made this channel, because I know when I first got started in real estate, I didn't really have a lot of guidance or training. And I was just trying to figure out how to become successful. But make sure you ask this question, because some brokerages do have systems and courses in place where they take you through a step-by-step guide on how to start your real estate business, and it teaches you everything that you need to know. And this is super important because when you first start out, you're going to be lost and you're going to have no clue where to even start. I remember those days when I first started, and it was not a lot of fun. The next question to ask when you're picking a sponsoring broker is, how are you going to generate business and new leads? When you're a real estate agent, you're self-employed, and the biggest challenge is finding new business. So you're going to want to ask this question because some brokerages offer leads, other brokerages don't. So you want to ask what their game plan is to either teach you how to generate leads, or if they're going to actually generate leads for you and take you through sales training and show you how to actually turn those leads into clients. So this is a very important question to ask. And this is one of the biggest reasons that new agents fail, is because they get in the business, they all of a sudden have a income that is, 100% commission based in most cases, and then they end up in a situation where they can't find new clients. So you want to make sure that you have this figured out with your new sponsoring broker, and you pick a broker that's going to be able to guide you in the right direction and help you generate new business. Last but not least, you want to talk about the commission splits. Now, this is not the most important thing, and this is why I put it last. Every new agent wants to talk about commission splits, and that's fine. When I was new, I wanted to do that too. But one of the biggest things that most new agents don't realize is that 100% of nothing is still nothing. So I would still make sure you ask all the other questions first. And if you have to go on a lower commission split because you're brand new, but you're going to get a ton of mentorship and a ton of support, I think that's a great deal. But if you're not getting a ton of mentorship and you're not getting a ton of support, then paying a high commission split is simply not worth it. So make sure you have this conversation ahead of time and make sure you fully understand it. One of the best ways that I would look at this is I would ask them, hey, if I make a $10,000 commission, after your splits and all your fees, what am I going to be left with? That's the conversation that you want to have, because there are all kinds of fees, all kinds of transaction costs, and all kinds of things that some brokerages put in to the deal. And you want to make sure you have this conversation ahead of time so you know exactly what you're going to net based on a $10,000 sale. So now that you've gotten through your pre-licensed education, you've passed your real estate exam, and you've picked your sponsoring broker, it's time to take all this information and apply for your real estate license. So first things first, you're gonna need proof of your past pre-licensed education from a state-approved school. This is the most important thing. You can't just take 40 hours anywhere. It has to be with a state-approved school. From there, you wanna pass your real estate exam, get a copy of that, get the proof of that, and then you want to get your sponsoring broker's information and send that out with your license application. Now, the big question, you might be asking, how much does this all cost? So I've compiled some data for you, and I got you the numbers so you know exactly what to expect getting started with this. Now, the good news is you do not have to come up with this all up front. A lot of this stuff is paid as you go through the process. So let me explain. First things first, you get your pre-licensed education classes. So I would expect anywhere from $316 to $389, depending on which sales and discounts you have going on. If you click the link down in the description below, our affiliate link, you will get access to different sales on classes, but that's what I would budget for the classes. Sometimes they're gonna be a little bit more, but I would say on average, I would budget anywhere between $316 to $389. From there, you have your E&O insurance. So this is your errors and omissions insurance. So if you make a mistake when you're on the job and somebody comes after you and tries to sue you, then this is the insurance that's gonna cover you. Most brokerages will have E&O insurance and you pay every month for it. And it's usually about $30 a month or so. So this isn't gonna come out all at front. And some brokerages include the E&O insurance so you don't have to pay anything out of pocket, which is really good. Or they take it out of your first couple sales. But I would just budget between $300 and $600 per year. The good news is that usually doesn't have to be paid up front. You usually can get your license before you even start paying into this. From here, you got your sponsoring broker fee. Some brokerages take a fee to join their brokerages, others don't. And it just depends on what brokerage you choose, but I would average anywhere between $0 and $250 to join a brokerage. The next thing is your real estate exam. Now, if you pass your real estate exam the first try, it's only gonna cost $100. If you have to take it multiple times, every time you take the exam, it's going to cost an additional $100. The last part of the process is your license application fee. Now, everything totaled up is going to cost you about $390. So all in all, you're only looking at about $1,100 to $1,700 to get started with this completely new career and this completely new business. So it's pretty inexpensive to get your real estate license and start a career that can potentially turn into something really good. I know when I got my real estate license, I went through this process and I've been a full-time agent for the past 10 years, and I have a real estate team also with 9 agents currently. So this career has worked out really good for me. Before I was doing real estate, I was in corporate America at a 9-to-5 job that I really didn't like. So doing this really helped me out big time, and I'm so glad that I started. So all in all, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I'll get back to you and answer any questions that you have. And good luck, and I hope you get licensed soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to New Agent HQ. On this channel, we try to give you all the resources to be confident and successful as a new agent from day one. If you like this kind of content, smash the like button and subscribe, and be sure to check out this video here. I think you'll enjoy it.